But I am enjoying the show page, and it's definitely going to make doing a live stream. I mean, it's perfect for a live streaming concert. The only problem with a live streaming concert is latency and inputs to your input and everything else, which brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about today.
Do tell, Rodney.
On the first show, we showed the ESI M8UEX MIDI interface.
That flows off the tongue so nicely.
I know. Which is a brilliant, in my opinion, the best MIDI interface around at any price.
Fantastic interface, unfortunate name.
Yeah, a very unfortunate name, but a beautiful looking and beautiful. And that thing has been in my rack since the day we did the show. It never went back.
Yes.
So it was so good, I decided to get an ESI 168 XT audio interface and try
168 XT. Is it called a 16? Is it a 168? Is it a 168? Or is it 168
I think it's 168
XT?
because it has 16 ins and 8 outs.
Right.
Which is pretty freaking amazing.
Yes.
For a USB interface.
About fucking time.
And I was going to pick it up and show it to you, and then I thought, screw it, I'm going to run the show through it. So let's have I'm going to pick up my camera, and you can actually
let's go into vomit mode.
Because, we're going into Battlestar Galactica handheld
shaky cam.
This is the ESI 16NXT. You can see that's the M8 in the rack, the MIDI interface, which is utterly fantastic. So this is the ESI 168XT. Now that's not in the rack because it's a 19-inch rack unit, but it's not in my rack because ESI have these beautiful curved end cheeks. Look at that. Look at this gorgeous brushed copper and these curved end cheeks.
Brushed copper cheek.
Very sultry and seductive, and but the problem is because it's curved, it's 19-inch to here, and the curve is an extra 19 1/4, so it does not fit in a 19-inch rack. Da, 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 da. Now I could probably get it in the back of the rack and put it on a shelf. It'll fit. But you can't rack mount it. Definitely can't get it in the front of my rack. It won't. I tried. Believe me, I tried.
Tried so many times to get in the front of your rack as well. Never.
Anyway, so let's have a look at the front of it. The front of it is awesome. You have 4 XLR mic inputs, and the first 2 are combi jacks. So they take instrument or XLR. So
right. God, I wish everyone would just use combi jacks from now on.
And then here, these are just standard XLRs. So that's the microphone I'm using at the moment.
Right.
And you can see the lights flashing. 48 volt. And then here, there's a little hardware mixer and 2 headphone outs, which is fantastic.
Isn't that lovely?
I mean, 2 headphone outs. That's one of the things that really attracted me to this was the fact it's got 2 headphones. Because quite a lot of the time, I've got myself and a guitar player in, or I'm singing and there's somebody else playing, so we just put 2 headphones. It's great. And that's a little hardware mixer that mixes the inputs and the backing tracks together, and it's not fabulous, but it works. So it's great. And the little green light above that shows which of these front panels are on. So if I switch on channel 4, you'll see that goes on there. Switch on channel 1.
Bing.
So it tells me which of my front panel channels are switched on, because on the back we have 16 line inputs on the back.
Look at all those line inputs.
Those line ins. And if you use the front 4, it takes away channels 1 to 4 of the line, so you 16 maximum. And all those jacks, that's my synthesizers plugged into it.
Right.
Because I was using a submixer before, so that's now gone. I don't need
You got like 4 synthesizers?
I don't use very many hardware synths. I got a Blofeld. I have...
How cute.
I have my delicious little V-Blit Triode, which I love. And I've got the famous Oddity 2000, in fact, that I mentioned earlier, which I still love. And there's a Deep Bass 9 in there. There's a Plugiator. I have the weirdest collection of hardware synths, but I frickin' love them. So then what else have we got? We got 8 outputs. 8 lineouts, and a stereo mix out, which is what works
Nice.
off the hardware mixer on the front. So you've got a mix out and 8 individual outs, canting to lock, SPDIF in and out, which is something you do not see very often these days, but can be useful, and MIDI in and out, and 12 volt.
Does it have ADAT?
So yeah, it's a pretty happening box.
Yeah. Does it have an ADAT out on it? Do you know?
Does not have ADAT in and out, no. But you've got 16 analog ins and 8 analog outs, so screw it. You know, I can live without ADAT.
Well, yeah.
If you want more, then you need something else. And is it good? Yeah, it's great. Freaking awesome. It works really well. And what's cool about it is really low latency. Stupendously low latency for a USB interface.
Nice. Is it USB 2 or USB-C?
It's USB 2. We talked about this, I think, when we first talked about the M8U. A lot of people have the wrong idea about USB, because the USB, they have high-speed USB and super-speed USB. All USB runs at the same speed.
Right.
There's no such thing, even though they call high-speed or super-speed, it doesn't. The data doesn't move faster down the line. It just has more bandwidth. So that means that it really doesn't matter whether it's USB 2 or USB 3. There's enough bandwidth to carry 16 channels of audio. So it's the same. It'll make no difference. So it's USB 2. And yeah, it works. It's great. Latency, now I'm using Windows, and especially if you use Windows, they have enhanced Windows drivers of their own that seem to be really good, because latency is usually a serious issue on Windows. And so I can operate this thing very successfully at 128 samples without a problem. Now, at the moment, I'm running it, let me just show you, actually. I'm running it into Studio One, through Studio One as we speak. See if I can show it. And I don't know if you can see. Oh, you can't see because it's coming up in a different window. Well, right now it's input latency 5.8 milliseconds, output latency 5.8 milliseconds. So it's 12 milliseconds altogether. I can actually run it much lower than that, but not when I'm running video, because I'm running the video at the same time. So this is doing this. One little Dell XPS is running the DAW with multiple channels, all the inputs and outputs, and the video compression and and the Skype that's taking Andrew's thing and everything else. So I put it at 256, 12 milliseconds, and it handles all that without a problem. If I'm not doing video, I can get down to at least half that.
Nice.
So for a USB interface, that's pretty freaking amazing. I mean, if you want low latency, RME are still the kings, or the PreSonus Quantum, but that's a whole different price point.
That's a different price point, yeah. What's the price point on these?
Let me check, actually. Let me check what the price point is. I'll check the European price.
There you go.
I think you'd be pleasantly surprised, because the M8U was really cheap for what it does.
Right.
And the 16, let's see what the 16.8 XT is less than £400.
Really?
Yes, less than £400. 16 in, 16 out, 24-bit 96. Really low latency, and it looks gorgeous. It's super freaking cheap.
Yeah, I'm almost clutching my pearls here.
I know. I'm
holy shit,
stunned at how cheap it is, because any other competitor, you're paying at least double that.
Right. For that many inputs, which is fantastic, because Daddy needs more inputs. That's for sure. Because I'm way the fuck out.
Yeah. So in the US, that's got to be what, 450, less than $500, maybe.
Yeah, less than $500. I can buy 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, you can't stack them up as well, as far as I know.
Yeah. Well, I can't put them in a rack, but I can stack them up still.
you can shelve them in a very wide rack. But,
yeah, totally.
But yeah, I freaking love the thing. And the other great thing, if you're running Windows, is one of the problems with Windows is wiring shit together. So when I was trying to wire Studio One into OBS to broadcast before, I had to install all this extra software and jump through
voice meter
ridiculous
and all
amounts
that
of
stuff.
hoops. But with this thing, the control software has a thing called direct wire, and you just go, oh, I want to wire my output of Studio One into my input of OBS. Okay, boom, boom, done. And that's it. And it just works. It took me...
Das Christoph found it on B&H in New York City for $399.95 US.
Holy shit. $400.
Yeah. $400. Oh, wait, that's the U86. He was wrong. Christoph, you failed me.
That's the U86. That's
okay,
the 8 and the 6. Yeah. Come on. We're talking 16.8 here. We're talking about the XT version.
XT.
That was $400. This is really cheap. But
$500 U68.
$500, 16.8. Yeah, that's pretty. That's a great deal, and it's perfect for this live stream stuff. That's what I love. I mean, that's why I thought I'd do the show tonight and actually show you it all working, because that's my system now. That's the system.
That's great.
Like I say, I'm running 256 at the moment. I could probably run it at 128 and have effectively no real noticeable latency at all. But I just didn't want to risk it. We'll see. But yeah, ESI, absolutely. These go to 11. No question. ESI, I have to be... wow. I mean, I slept on these guys for a while, and I have to say they are kicking ass. That MIDI interface is amazing, and the audio interface is amazing, and the price is stupid.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. So, yeah, very good. An amazing deal for that many inputs. Now, yeah, you're right, Christoph. It's a hell of a deal. So yeah, this is my system now. It's not going back. These were both review units, but ESI will never see them again. Because that's the system now, and I've got a lot of interfaces here. I've got back in that rack there is full of old interfaces, and I've got everything. Everybody, I've got iConnectivity, PreSonus, Focusrite, Roland. They're all there, and when you test the latency with most of those interfaces, they're pretty much of a muchness. At the top end, you get RME.
Right.
They always win because they have their ASIO drivers in hardware.
Right.
They have a really special system. And then the PreSonus Quantum, which is Thunderbolt, is right up there as well. And then you've got a huge gap. And then you've got all the other manufacturers are pretty much of a muchness. They're a little bit more, a little bit less. But ESI are definitely well ahead of that pack. They're in that middle space. They're not your RMEs, but they're a third of the price of an RMA. So,
right, and they do the job really in the end.
Doing this job,
that's the
and
thing,
it sounds
right?
great.
Yeah,
I mean, it actually sounds really good too. So, yeah, ESI, you win again.